Have you played with it? Have you seen it?
Is it done? Is it ready?
Done? You don't play a lot.
Still rendered?
I'm not a gamer.
We were talking about this earlier. You don't play a lot. So
Not a lot. I don't play video games.
At all?
No, I do not. I'm not the consumer in chief. I am responsible
when they show you the game,
right?
Do you offer notes on the game? How does that work?
I share my opinions pretty openly. I think being the consumer in chief in an entertainment business as the CEO is probably a mistake. Probably a mistake. I wasn't the consumer in chief in the movie business or the television business or the music business, even though, you know, I certainly can read a script and I definitely love music and I was a musician.
Video games. The largest form of media on planet Earth, not only in terms of monetary value, but also continuous engagement from its consumers. Video games have their place in cultures all around the world. Whether that's a good or bad thing in the eyes of the people, the developers, and the media, they are no stranger to controversy, and they're my favorite way to pass the time outside of travel and spending time with my family and friends. I've played video games for just about my whole life. I'm 26 years old. I lived through the golden age of video games in my opinion. I will most likely play video games until the day I die. So why is it so hard for me to pick up a new one nowadays, or even go back to one that I enjoyed? I live a really busy life, and I'm sure the rest of you that are watching this video do the same. And to be honest with you, ever since the advent of the live service title, every game I play just devolves into a monotonous grind. The last thing I want to do after I come home from work is sit down and play Call of Duty and grind for the 768th time since the original COD 4 was released in 2007. The reason why I call Call of Duty 4 the original is because the multiplayer formula for the Call of Duty games has not really changed that much since this game was released in 2007. Pretty much all of the games that we grew up with are shadows of their former selves. Why is this the case? Greed. I know it's a meme at this point, but the $2.50 horse armor, back in the day for Oblivion, casts a very long, very dark shadow of the future of the gaming industry. I'm not saying that all microtransactions are a bad thing, but if you look at sales metrics from the big players in the gaming industry, they collect more revenue from selling worthless digital cosmetics and meaningless items to the player than the actual game itself. What's the problem with this, you might ask? So what if I want to play as Seth Rogen or Nicki Minaj in Call of Duty? And to that I answer, to each their own. To be honest, I don't really care what skins people have when I'm playing a fast game like Call of Duty or Warzone. I don't see an issue with players wanting to express themselves even if it's in a pretty stupid way. The problem with this is greed. It's always greed that takes a good thing and ruins it. The point of me saying all this isn't to be depressive or complain. It's just, I can't tell you the last time I was excited for a AAA game. When I was younger, hype for games was real. I feel like every other week, a new amazing game was on the horizon, and I was always excited to see what was coming next. The only AAA game that I'm really excited for right now is GTA 6, because everybody is, but for good reason. Rockstar's basically impeccable track record for releasing games that always push the boundaries for the time they're released is unmatched. Red Dead 2, I'm looking at you. It also helps that they have basically unlimited budget and unlimited time. Red Dead 2 still looks like it came out last week. The gameplay is super dated. Thank you, NakeyJakey, for pointing that out. By the way, if you are somehow watching this video and haven't seen any of his videos, do yourself a favor and turn this shit off and go watch his channel instead. That guy's awesome. Anyways, I think the last time I was excited for a AAA title was God of War Ragnarok, and that game came out almost 3 years ago. Now, I'm not trying to rant too much because I do have a point to this video, believe it or not. But controversial take, I wasn't the biggest fan of Elden Ring.
Come on, man. Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
I know. Don't click off this yet. Let me build my case for a minute. Give me the stand. I got bored after 80 hours of playing. I can hear the get good comments coming as I utter these words. But come on, let me give you a good reason why I burnt out on Elden Ring so quick. I didn't even finish the game, which is pretty rare for me. I pretty much always finish games when I buy them, especially single player ones. Question for you. How many times in the past 5 to 7 years have you played a game that's open world where you ride around on a horse? Let that sink in for a second. How many times have you rode around on a fucking horse in an open world video game? Can't count? That's because you've done it a trillion times. Now, this isn't a new thing. This goes all the way back. I think we can trace it back to Shadow of the Colossus on the PS3. Maybe even earlier, like Gun for the PSP or PS2. Both of those games are certified hood classics, by the way, but that's the point. I couldn't get myself to play Elden Ring because I put 1,200 hours on Dark Souls 1, 250 hours on Dark Souls 2. I beat Bloodborne about 7 times. I still don't know why the fuck there isn't a PC port or even a remaster for it. That game is a masterpiece. Even the DLC was amazing. What the fuck is your problem, Sony? Anyways, where I started to fatigue with this formula was in Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 was my second most played Souls game in terms of hours. I was sweating at that PvP like nobody's business. I was pretty good at it. I was fighting in a PvP tournament with fellow YouTuber Paragon DS as the host of the tourney. I'm not even sure if he's around anymore. I haven't seen him upload anything in a long time. I used to love watching his stuff. I got in contact with him, and he agreed to let me play in a tournament a couple years ago. Oh, this is probably like 7 years ago now at this point. Anyways, I got second place overall in the tournament. I was fighting against some seriously talented Dark Souls players. I sweated my ass off in PvP. So the point of this is the second place prize, which is what I got second place. Yes, I did not win. I was playing against some seriously talented people, like I said, was the first DLC for Dark Souls 3. I was so excited to play this. Like, I can't even tell you how excited I was to play it. Because Dark Souls 2, the DLC for that game, was trash. It was fucking booty cheeks. It just seemed like a bunch of bullshit, like lazy fights with humanoid enemies, which is what you did for the entire game. There was like even some reskinned enemies in some places, and I really didn't like it, but I played the whole thing. And I booted up the DLC for Dark Souls 3, and this was kind of an epiphany moment for me. I booted it up, and I was like, damn, I'm starting to get sick of this shit. I didn't even play it. I got it for free, and I didn't even play it, not even for a second. Like, I booted it up, but I didn't play it at all. So fast forward a couple years, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice comes out. I hadn't played a Souls game since Dark Souls 3, since the tournament, and I couldn't be bothered to give it a go. I heard it from a couple friends, hey, it's different, man. It's like kind of the same, but it's different. So like 6 months later, I picked it up on sale. I beat it once, and I never booted it up again. So Elden Ring gets announced pretty soon after that, and I'm not even hyped a little bit. I've already sunk over 2,000 hours into the series as a whole. I saw George R.R. Martin had a hand in writing some of the games, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I'm really glad I gave it a go the first time, because the first like 40 hours, I was really enjoying myself. I felt like I was getting my money's worth, and everything was just clicking. I was like, man, this game's awesome. And then the franchise fatigue started to kick in. Boss after boss, I started to get more fatigued. It just felt so repetitive, even though the boss design is inherently the best in the entire Souls series. The Radon fight, especially, the first time, I will never forget that. Around hour 50, I just started to feel bored. I felt like it was another grind. Now I see that there's like 15 million Souls-like clones. I can't be bothered to play a single one of them. Like, I saw Lies of P, and I was like, oh, cool, Dark Souls, but you're playing as Pinocchio. Black Myth Wukong, oh, cool, Dark Souls, but you're playing as Monkey Man. It's still on my list of games to play, don't get me wrong, but like, I just need a break, dude. Elden Ring is inherently a fantastic video game. I just didn't enjoy it as much as other people due to franchise fatigue. A trend that you will see later on in this video. I quit because I was bored of it. I didn't quit because I was bad at it. So don't say get good in the comments. I quit it because it was too easy. Get shit on. Alright, let's snap back to reality for a minute. This video isn't about what's wrong with Elden Ring. This video is titled, What Has Gaming Become? The reason, in my opinion, that we don't get good AAA titles anymore all links back to the horse armor from Oblivion. Sounds crazy, I know. How that one little thing can turn video games like Halo 2 and 3 into this. Not trying to sound like a broken record here, but greed killed the gaming industry, or will kill it. Let's wind the clocks back like 15 years or so, back to the so-called golden age of video games. We had all these amazing games just coming out left and right. You know what? I'm just going to rattle off a few of them. I'm going to start with the 4 best years in video game history, in my opinion. 2006, 2007, 2008, and 2009. Starting with 2006, and this year's a little underwhelming compared to years that follow. We got Gears of War, Dead Rising, Guitar Hero 2, The Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess, Oblivion, The Cause of the Downfall, not entirely, but yeah. The Original Bully from Rockstar, one of my childhood favorites, and Call of Duty 3, which to my 9-year-old pea-brain was amazing because you could drive vehicles in some of the multiplayer maps, and the ragdolls were hilarious. Definitely a sleeper hit of my childhood. Gears of War also shaped some of my identity too. And come on, Guitar Hero 2 still arguably has the best set list in the series, except for Guitar Hero 3. Only because it had Through the Fire and Flames. Side note, why the fuck can I only play Guitar Hero at like a shitty arcade with a broken controller? Those controllers are so expensive too. Like if I want to play Clone Hero, I know somebody's going to comment, just play Clone Hero. If I want to play Clone Hero, I got to shell out $400 for 2 guitars. Or I can buy some crappy little Wii ones, but they're super hard to find, surprisingly. And realistically, I'm not going to use any of these things unless I'm super drunk or bored. Anyways, all of those games I mentioned came out in a year. 1 single year. I'm not done. Let's move on to 2007 now. This is arguably the greatest year for video games in the history of the medium. Are you ready for this shit? I'll go in alphabetical order. I'm even blown away doing research for this video, just how many great, amazing video games came out this year. Are you ready for this list? Because it's pretty crazy. Assassin's Creed, BioShock, Call of Duty 4, Crysis 1, Halo 3, Mass Effect 1, Portal 1, Super Mario Galaxy, Team Fortress 2, Uncharted 1. Alright, let me just talk about a couple of these games for a second. Halo 3 is arguably one of the best games that has ever come out, and I think I'm just going to make a video just about this game after I'm done with this one, because this shit hit me so hard as a kid, and I didn't even know it. I still get emotional when I hear that goddamn menu music, and this game is just so iconic, and apart from Miranda's infamous line in the beginning of the game,
"Ma'am, squad leaders are requesting a rally point. Where should they go?"
To war.
Bruh. Halo 3 is basically a perfect video game. It shipped as a complete package too, which does not happen anymore. The multiplayer in Halo 3 is just untouched even to this day. Some of my fondest memories of all time, from Fat Kid to Jenga to Duck Hunt, the custom games for playability, the physics of the game were just perfect. It was a sandbox, and there is nothing quite like it, to be honest. Let's talk about BioShock for a second. One of the most influential psychological horror games that has ever come to the 3D space. We're talking Silent Hill 2 levels of influential. I understand it's not really a horror game in the sense of like it's strictly a horror game and more of like an action game where you get all drugged up and you shoot zombies, or what seemed like zombies to me as a kid. They're called splicers, but anyways. I remember playing this shit in a dark room, and the doctor that jump scares you after you get one of the plasmids, dude, that shit is seared into my mind. Oh yeah, and the ragdolls were super silly too, which I really enjoyed. Assassin's Creed 1. Damn, dude, like this year just does not stop. My boy Altair, still my favorite Assassin's Creed protagonist. I stopped playing these games after Assassin's Creed 3 because of franchise fatigue. I know I gotta play Black Flag. I know I have to. I'm gonna go back to it. My brother's actually doing a playthrough of that right now. I've been watching him, like, damn, this game looks amazing. I definitely gotta go back and play that one. There's a lot of things I gotta go back and play. Call of Duty 4, holy shit. This game came out this year too. What an amazing game. The complete package, truly. Gangster campaign, all gillied up, was the coolest fucking thing I have ever seen in my 10 years of being alive. And then the nuke sequence in the helicopter, I was so impressed by this game's set pieces as a kid. The whole campaign is amazing. The boat mission with Price is another standout. I stopped playing these games after Black Ops 1, which yes, means I missed out on Black Ops 2. I'm gonna go back and play that because I feel like we're living that shit right now. Like, they were pretty scary accurate with their predictions in that game. It's pretty crazy, so I think I'm gonna go play that because I'm gonna feel like I'm just, you know, watching Ukraine footage or some shit like that. But are you seeing a trend here with my franchise fatigue? By the time Black Ops 2 came out back in the day, Battlefield 3 was out, and I had already, you know, built my my first or second PC, I can't really remember. So I don't think I really missed much. Battlefield 3 on the PC back in 2011 was insane, and it's still awesome. To this day, it's still an amazing game. All right, we'll talk about this one quickly. Crysis 1 put my aforementioned PC that I built at the time, like in 2011, 2012 when I was playing Battlefield. I had a GTX 560 Ti, and I was so happy that I got 30 FPS at 1080p. And that game came out 5 years before I was playing it on that PC. It was just so ahead of its time. Like, in terms of tech, just so ahead of its time. The gameplay was okay, it was pretty mid, but the actual tech, like graphics and texture work and everything like that, was just insanely ahead of its time. Team Fortress 2 has hats. Yeah, they're kind of a problem too. Let's skip this one. So for the sake of time, this video is already going to be pretty long. I'm going to speed run 2008. 2007 was very important for me. So many great, amazing video games and experiences were released this year, and I just really don't think there's been a year that's topped it since, to be honest with you. So let's move on to 2008 now. Bear with me, I know it's a lot of listing, but I promise it's going to have a point. So 2008 had Fallout 3, Grand Theft Auto 4, my personal favorite of the series, and the story, god dude, the story is just so good. The atmosphere of this game is unmatched, the physics were amazing, driving is still my favorite in the series, which is a contentious topic of its own. Dead Space came out this year. Metal Gear Solid 4, I've never played it because I've never had a PS3, but I bought one just to play it. It's on my desk right next to me right now. Star Wars The Force Unleashed, I'm still pissed that they did my boy Starkiller dirty and never made it into a full-blown series and retconned his existence. Left 4 Dead came out this year, like, god. I still play Left 4 Dead to this day, by the way. It's almost old enough to serve in the US military, and there has still not been a multiplayer experience that has this good of a replay value and this cool of characters that you don't even really know, but like when you play the game, you feel like you know these people for real. It's honestly insane. Valve and Turtle Rock absolutely cooked with Left 4 Dead 1. And then they went on to release a second game that I'll talk about in a minute, and it was amazing as well, and they're terrified of threes. They will never release a third of anything for some reason. Call of Duty World at War released this year, which was one of the biggest things to happen to Call of Duty. Zombies came out. The Der Riese expansion was single-handedly the most important thing to happen to Call of Duty Zombies, and is a titular reason why it's so popular to this very day. I forgot to mention Far Cry 2 came out this year, Little Big Planet 1, Mirror's Edge, which is still one of my favorite games of all time, Army of Two, which they just don't make games like this anymore. It's a co-op only shooter experience that you can play with a friend of yours in split screen, and it was just fun. It was dumb fun. And I seem to be the only person on earth to remember this game fondly. This is the last game of 2008 that really had an effect on me. Banjo Kazooie, Nuts and Bolts. Why am I the only person that loved this game as a kid? I think mainly the reason why I liked it so much is because I could just build big ass penis cars, and that shit was hilarious to me when I was 10. I remember playing a lot of Gary's Mod around this time, and I'm pretty sure I liked it for the exact same reason as Banjo Kazooie. On to 2009, and I'm done talking about nostalgia. I'm sure you guys are tired of listening to me talk about this stuff, but I love it so much. I'm so passionate about these games. Let's start with the first one, Batman Arkham Asylum. Batman Arkham Asylum came out in 2009 and is arguably one of the best Batman games ever, if not the best Batman game, except for the final boss with Joker, Clayface Joker. It sucked. Anyways, it's my personal favorite in the entire series, and yes, I've played all of them, including Origins, multiple times. I really like how you feel uneasy in certain parts of the game. It's almost like a horror game sometimes. Resident Evil 5 came out this year. It was a huge departure from Resident Evil 4. It kind of ditched the horror vibe and it was more of like an action shooter. Supposedly it was the best-selling Resident Evil game of all time. I would have to double check that, but I remember everyone having this game as a kid, especially the co-op was really fun. Brutal Legend, a game where Ozzy Osbourne is the devil and you play as Jack Black, absolute classic. If you haven't played this game, go back and play it. It still holds up pretty well. Prototype, whatever, you know, just blind, dumb fun. Borderlands, the original Borderlands came out this year. Ain't No Rest for the Wicked by Cage the Elephant. Every time that song comes on in a public place, I think of Borderlands. Left 4 Dead 2 came out this year. It was pretty much just the first one, but gooder. They kind of ditched the scary vibe from the first game, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but I still play it to this day. It's amazing. Infamous came out this year as well. I didn't play it because I didn't have a PS3, but I put it on here because I know it's a pretty amazing game at the time. Demon Souls, which I also didn't play. It's the only Souls game I've never played. And then Halo 3 ODST. Halo 3 ODST arguably has one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. The violin, the piano, the saxophone, the atmosphere of New Mombasa at night, and just paired with this music is just an amazing combination. This game was made in 9 months. It was meant to be a DLC for Halo 3. It was made in 9 months and still managed to be better than most games by other studios that took years to develop. Uncharted 2 came out this year, which had an amazing story and just pretty much did everything the first one did, but better. X-Men Origins Wolverine, which was one of my favorite games as a kid, was one of the only movie tie-in games to actually be good. It was rated M and it was super violent, it was super fun. And I could not be talking about 2009 without mentioning Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Znami Bog. Remember, no Russian.
I remember going to GameStop to get this game with my mom, and the clerk told me I'm not allowed to get it because there's a mission that I should not see at a young age. My mom did not buy me the game, but luckily GameFly was a thing, and I had an older brother, so I just watched him play it. It was really messed up. Even to this day, it's pretty messed up. Like, you go back and play it, it's pretty horrible. Funny story, I could be remembering this wrong, but I'm pretty sure we kept the GameFly copy of Modern Warfare 2, and then I just went on and played it in secret at nighttime, and then my mom just kind of forgot about it over time. I could be remembering that wrong, but big brother, if you're watching this, let me know. Remember when Activision Infinity Ward had balls and actually tried to make their gritty war games? I hope you're starting to see my point with this video. I'm not just high on member berries. I am a firm believer that video games used to be better because they actually were. When I was a kid, I was so excited to see how far along we would be with video games by the time I was the age that I am now. Sure, we got there graphically, but I feel like every game nowadays is either open world horse game number 467, or Soulsborne 65, or Call of Duty 23. The first two were jokes, but there's 23 fucking Call of Duty games. And the 24th is on the way. That's not including like the PSP games and shit. 23 Call of Duty games. Video games used to have soul. They used to have passion. AAA developers don't care about the consumer anymore. All they care about is making as much money as humanly possible. The PlayStation 2 had 4,300 different games on it by the end of its life cycle. The PS5 currently has about 3,700, and that's with its full backwards compatibility catalog. We don't get any good exclusives for the PS5. We got Horizon Dawn Forbidden West. I did not give a shit about that game. I'm sorry. We will never get another Tony Hawk's Underground 2, or another Killzone 1, or PsyOps the Mindgate Conspiracy. Only real ball knowers know about that game. Because those games were all passion projects by people that saw making a game first and money coming as a happy afterthought. The gaming industry does not care about you. Video games by large developers used to be huge passion projects by teams of devoted developers, made with love and care and purpose and vision, not just for money, even though it was a huge part of it. Do you really think the people who made Jet Set Radio were concerned about making $1 million? The answer is more than likely no. They just wanted to make something badass and fun, and something that people would truly love, like a good artist does. Oblivion started the problem with microtransactions, but I think at the end of the day, the reason for the demise of the gaming industry, and especially live service titles, is Fortnite. When Fortnite released, nobody really knew about it. It was a tacked-on battle royale experience to a shitty third-person castle defense game of the same name. They threw together Fortnite Battle Royale rather quickly to compete with PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, affectionately known as PUBG. PUBG really blew up because it was the first of its genre. It was the first multiplayer game that took the Battle Royale concept and put it into the digital space. While that not being necessarily true, there used to be a mod for Arma 2 made by the same guy, Brendan Green, that was the precursor to PUBG, but it wasn't super popular because Arma 2 is a niche game. If you remember the DayZ mod, that was my favorite thing ever, and I wish it was still around. Fortnite created a battle royale that was accessible to a larger, wider audience. There was no violence in the game. Well, there was cartoon violence, but no blood or gore. So kids would be able to play it. Fast forward to 2022, a couple years after Fortnite was released, and they pulled in $20 billion in revenue, which is their all-time highest amount of money in a single year. Because Fortnite is a free game, all of this revenue, for the most part, is from microtransactions, V-Bucks, and skins. Fortnite went zero to hero seemingly overnight, and all the big wigs in the gaming industry, they wanted a piece of that Fortnite pie. A piece of that Fortnite burger. Get out! EA saw it, Ubisoft saw it, Activision Blizzard saw it, and I have a feeling that's why we see all these ridiculous cosmetics in the games that we loved as children. Not only just the cosmetics, but some of Epic's practices seem like they're directly advertising towards children that don't necessarily have the best judgment. I don't know if you remember this, but a while back, Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out, 2017, and EA actually faced a lawsuit in the UK because of their predatory microtransaction marketing policy. Now every single video game is trying to maintain relevance by adding ridiculous cosmetics and battle passes, and even battle passes for battle passes, like Call of Duty has 2 battle passes. Fortnite is just mashing every genre of game into one, which is really cool for a free video game, but it sets a very dangerous precedent for other companies trying to make a unique experience. Fortnite will just end up sucking it into its vacuum if it's popular enough. Then you have companies like Valve that make awesome games. They have a fantastic track record with consumer relations, and now you can just straight up gamble in Counter-Strike, and it's become a real problem. People have made livings on Twitch just buying skin cases and rolling the dice. It's honestly sad, and it's unfortunately the state of the world that we're in right now. So I blame Fortnite for most of the live service problems that we have nowadays, like in Call of Duty and Halo, and pretty much like Splitgate just came out and it's a mess. But Valve has a huge hand in responsibility in the downturn of the gaming market. People see that Valve can make millions of dollars a year just by selling skins, digital items, that you don't even have a guaranteed chance of getting. So all of these other companies are like, oh, maybe we can do it too. So Fortnite and Counter-Strike are really, really dangerous precedents that have been set. And unfortunately, it's just going to get worse. Game companies nowadays, their main objective is to squeeze the most amount of money out of their consumers as humanly possible. And I know a lot of you guys watching this are like, well, yeah, it's a business. Isn't that the main goal at the end of the day? But there's a difference between creating a product and earning the revenue from it and creating a predatory service. So, what is the actual problem with this approach, where money is everything and the game comes second, aside from the obvious? In an ideal world, the artists will actually put time and care into their artwork, and in some cases devote their entire lives to it. Nowadays, gaming companies just use contractors for the most part to make all of their games. As soon as the project is done, they just lay the staff off that created it so they don't have to give them any tenured raises, so they can keep development costs as low as physically possible. Mint Blintz, aka Remy, has some really good videos going through a lot of Microsoft documentation showing that this is in fact what they do. And they actually have a rule so no one person can be employed as a developer for more than a certain amount of time. So the problem that presents itself with this system is that if they have a person working on a video game or a team of people that truly love the product wholeheartedly, They'll just be replaced by someone who does not give a single fuck and know that they're going to be paid X amount of dollars for X amount of time, and then it's on to the next. The dream I had as a kid to be a video game developer for a large company is dead. Long dead. To my knowledge, this is the pipeline for modern day game development at a large studio. Of course there are outliers to this rule, but here's how it goes to my knowledge. Idea is pitched. It either sticks or it doesn't. A couple of days or weeks go by before the developers are greenlit to begin work on these projects. They begin the work and are constantly berated by the executives to introduce more ways for the consumer to pay real money for in-game items, boosters, cosmetics, whatever. Crunch for weeks and weeks and weeks until even if the person working on the project absolutely loved the idea, they hate it now. That team is laid off. New team hired. Rinse and repeat. That team is fired. New team is hired. Rinse and repeat until the game is launched. I think this is a good explanation as to why so many of these games are released in such a broken state. Let's take a look at Ubisoft for a second. They have in-game stores for their single-player games, and most of the games they release are pretty much all shit. I'm pretty sure that's because they do not care about the games they make. I'm sure the actual people working on it do, but the corporate overlords, who probably don't even play video games in the first place, call the shots, and if it's not financially convenient, they trim the fat or axe the project entirely. Why do you think there hasn't been a Splinter Cell remake? Those games were amazing. The reason is because the corporate overlords don't think there's any money in single-player games. Haze Light Studios, the mind behind Split Fiction. I know they're considered AA, not triple, but they seem to be the last of a dying breed. They make games to be fun and don't charge too much for them. Split Fiction was $50 total for a friend and I to play together, and it was one of the best games I've played in a very long time. It reminded me of video games that used to come out on like the OG Xbox or even the 360, games that were just meant to be fun. Of course there will be outliers to the rule of greed, and I won't spend time scrutinizing other game companies over who is good or bad. Rockstar makes amazing games, for example, but their parent company, Take-Two, are just about as bad as it gets in the gaming industry. The man you saw at the beginning of this video is Take-Two's CEO. If you look into some of Take-Two Interactive's methods, they study human psychology in order for consumers to spend more on their games. They are evil. They are the reason shark cards exist and why GTA 5 Online is one of the highest grossing forms of media in the history of the world. Minecraft is number one, but they're somewhat of a good example in terms of greed. Most of the content they've released is free, and it's the most profitable game of all time. But at that point, we're just picking between the lesser of two evils. Oh, it's not that bad, so I'll continue playing it. And it's not like we can boycott anything, because gaming has become so huge that even if Call of Duty charges $400 for Call of Duty 24, people will still buy it. Not everyone, but a small minority of people will still buy it, and that will be enough to turn a profit. Anyways, the reason why I'm bringing up all these big companies is because these are companies that we used to love. The companies behind Gears of War, Call of Duty, Halo, and Battlefield. The teams that worked on those games are all long gone. The people behind these games that we grew up with are gone. The games are just shells of their former selves. And it's all because of that goddamn horse horn. The state of the gaming industry has been on my mind for a long time. I spend a lot of my time playing video games, whatever little free time I have. So I really didn't know how to articulate better than to just make a video about it. The gaming industry is cooked. And unfortunately, the everyman can really do nothing about it. Go back and watch the old Halo 3 devblogs. They really truly cared about the game they were making. When is the last time you saw a video from a large gaming company where the people in the video didn't sound like a bunch of androids trying to sound human? I can't remember the last time I saw a video like the Halo 3 devblogs. But unfortunately, the way I feel is we will never get another Halo 3. We will never get another Black Ops 2. We will never get another Battlefield 3. None of these companies care enough about their products anymore, unfortunately. We'll continue to get poorly unoptimized Unreal Engine 5 games for the next 5 years, and continue to get absolute shit charged at full price like Mindseye, because at the end of the day, all video games are to these companies are dollar signs and deadlines. Everything I've said in this video is just my theory. That being said, there are good things on the horizon. Just don't get your hopes up. You can be optimistic, even if it's cautiously. everything I've said in this video up to this point is directed towards AAA studios that have our beloved IPs in shackles, held hostage. They're just destroying these games from within. And it's really sad to see, because I grew up with a lot of these things, and they kind of like formed the person I am a little bit. So I'm very depressed about the state of the gaming industry right now. That being said, there's still good video games out there. The indie scene is carrying the gaming industry, and they have been for quite some time now. I'm a little late to making this video. The best games I've played in recent memory have been indie games. So go show some love to indie developers. Stop giving your money to these horrible developers that don't give a shit about you. And give an indie game on your Steam list that you've been thinking about a shot, because I'm sure you're going to enjoy it a hell of a lot more than playing Verdansk for the 374th time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, I really hope you got something out of this video. I don't really expect anybody to see this video, to be honest with you. If you watched it, don't even subscribe or like unless you really want to. I can only make videos when I have time. And unfortunately, time is just fleeting nowadays. This was my first attempt at these essay-style videos, and I really enjoyed making it. My workflow was pretty consistent, and I got it done pretty quick because I had a vision. I've had this idea for a couple years now, but really it just started to irk me, and I had to get my words out. Thanks again for watching. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.